You'll see in my backgrounds one of Jesus with little children and one of a person sitting at a desk. And they're on my wall because they're my mother's. And she always remembers that we're immortal beings having a mortal experience. Temporal. Temporary. Temporal. And we're here to be in love and joy and happy and to do work that fulfills our heart and lives with joy and blesses us abundantly. And we can work together to create a world like that. One life, one person, one being at a time. A life of love and joy and being who we want and choose to be. I love all of you. You're my brothers and sisters. Okay? And yet at this moment, I'm having challenges, in my household with peace and love and happiness. And all I can say is we're working on it. I want to have peace and love. I don't feel like everybody else is in the same boat. Their idea of peace and love is very different. So that's one of the big parts that I have to be understanding of, is that everybody's idea of peace and love is different. And we may want all the peace and love in the world for everyone else. But their idea of peace and love might be different from ours. And I just don't feel on this planet, especially in the state I'm in right now, is Texas. I would like to send some peace and love to my sister, who has a big sign in her front yard about how she's a Christian. I don't know her name. I don't know anything about her. All I know is that in this area of the country, there are no parks to go to. And that's hard for me because I came from a place where there was a park every couple of miles, where we had long miles and miles of trails for people to walk on with their pets and pet areas and ride bikes with their kids and playgrounds every several miles along the whole city. There were parks all over the place. I mean, I'm not saying right around every block, but every couple of miles. Fucking Texas, you drive all over. Oh, there's a park somewhere. And it's one little piece of a dried scrap dirt with some half-ass equipment on it. And all the trees have been cut down. That's not a park. Fuck. So I drive into a neighborhood and sit at a vacant lot where there were some trees so I could meditate. And this Christian woman came out of her house because she needs to call the cops and get her gun. Get her husband with his gun. Really? You're Christian? Wow. Did you know Christ never taught once in a church in his whole entire ministry inside a big fancy thing with stained glass windows? Never happened once. That's what Christ taught, is to take care of the mother and to be at one with the mother and to live in balance with the mother and to be nice to all the other brothers and sisters. I wasn't doing anything to her. I didn't go anywhere near her property. I was just sitting there eating my breakfast, meditating for freaking, not even 15 minutes. And this woman thinks she's somehow Christian? Really? What rules of Christ do you follow? Loving, caring, sharing, or greed? And get off our land. It's not our land. It's not any part of our property. We don't own it. We have no rights to it. But you're fucking sitting where we can see. And you don't belong here because we're Christians. Really? Christ never owned a house. He walked around, and where he was, people fed him and sheltered him and his disciples. He didn't have a bunch of fancy churches. He gave the money he got to the people that were in need. And yes, they did use some of it to help them take care of themselves, but they mostly were dependent. Texans believe that Christianity is about, I have my piece of property and you need to go get a job and buy your piece of property. And then we all get guns and point them at each other. There are no guns in heaven, people. I don't know which part of Christianity forgot to teach you that. There are no guns in heaven. Not a single effing one. Because you can't harm anyone. Not even with a thought. Much less actual physical violence. Just a thought of harm harms everyone in heaven. So I don't know what part of this woman thinks she's Christian. She doesn't have love for her fellow brothers and sisters. All she has is fear and greed. I don't know how she thinks that's in alignment with heaven. That she would get in. We run around being fearful and greedy. I didn't ask anything of her. But 30 minutes to an hour to sit there with the trees and eat my food and relax and meditate and just be at peace and just be one with the planet and just be at peace and listen to the birds and just sit there and breathe. I didn't want anything from her except to not be harassed, to be allowed to have a few moments of peace on this planet. That's what Christians stand for. That's what Christians believe Christianity stands for. getting a job, buying a piece of property, and a bunch of guns so you can protect your shit. So, okay, I'm just... There is no wonder why areas that are more socialistic are thriving so much better, okay? But I also want you to understand that part of the reason Denver did that area of the country, is because they're part of the drainage off the mountains. The rivers and creeks and drainage needed to happen, and so they created parks and things. But over and over, especially in these southern states, the waters are for the wealthy that can afford it. They don't build parks on the waterways so the dirt of this planet can share in her wealth and beauty, unless they can pay and pay and get a job and pay. Because it's all about money. Yeah, ain't no money in heaven, people. So if you don't know how to live without money, you're doing it wrong. Let's see. What are we doing on this planet? Oh, enslaving everyone, destroying the democracy. So we can have a great big World War III, unbalance the world economies, good job, Trump, and pick off the democracies so Putin can expand his territories and everybody else, and have massive World War III, kill the planet and go live as AI technology on Mars. Wow. And we think we're evolved monkeys. Wow. I don't know. See, now I start laughing because it's all sarcastic, okay? There's no judgment in heaven. Heaven's like, oh God, not another one. I thought, didn't we, like, well, if they're hell bent on destroying the planet, I mean, how many evolutionary cycles is it gonna take? I don't know. Somebody get some popcorn. We'll make some more dirty jokes about them. I mean, God's got all of eternity, people. It's not like he's going anywhere. You're gonna grow up. It's an hour later kind of thing. And you have great opportunities on this planet. It is really, you guys, you don't know how wonderful the opportunity on Earth is right now. Okay. It is 5-star. Okay. Because we can still save her. Planets are resilient, believe it or not. And, you can get, what do they call it in video games? Cheats. See, all is not lost. Okay. And the gods are a lot more forgiving than you think. Okay. I know there are people that think they're like, oh, I've done things that are unforgivable. I could never tell God I did that. God already knows. Okay, he already knows. You didn't hide anything from anybody. Okay. I don't want to know. So don't tell me. I don't need to know. Not my job. Okay. It's outside the boundaries of my requirements. I don't need to know. Thank you. But discuss it and fix things. Cause like there's always an equation for that. Just, let me figure it out. In a very real way, God does not see the separation. They're just all mini-me's. We are all just mini-me's. He's 1,000,000 gallons and we're fucking 2 cups. He's like, yeah, I expected that. You know? And there are things we do, we don't understand why we do them. And I I I like the example of Trump. Okay, he doesn't really know why, like, he holds it out, but he doesn't feel complete. And it's because, like, there was a time when he did that, and then it had to be proclaimed in front of the people, and it was like a ceremony every time he wrote a law. But he didn't write them as often as this, it was like a big deal, and he had to make it had to little pomp and circumstance. But it was just the thing, and so it makes him it feels complete to him, and it's good, and there's no guilt or shame, it's beautiful. God understands that. He he could tell you the whole long list of beautiful things about Trump, okay? He could be like, "Man, you guys have done such a great job stealing the election." Da, 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 da. I mean, he'll root you on both ways. He really does think y'all did a great job, okay? But the afterward was really okay. You know, ride the ride, babies. It's like Space Mountain. Sometimes it gets a little bumpy. It's okay. It happens. And kill a few people who are there. You know, just every day get up, try to do better. And start moving in the right direction. Okay? It's not a one day kind of thing. There's a tarot card that talks about turning a quarter of an inch. A farmer that needed to change the direction of his fields, one direction to another. And it just a quarter of an inch. And he started replowing his fields, and he got them turned the right way. And it makes a massive difference over the long run. We are here, my brothers and sisters, to change the trajectory of our planet to a renaissance of enlightenment, of new science and math and technology, more glorious, that will allow us to live in balance and beauty and health on this planet. And make it a jumping off point where thousands and millions will graduate. God sees the long-term game. And the glory and the beauty. And the reason everything is forgivable, because it has to be. Everything has to be solved and resolved and dissolved and back in alignment with heaven before it can return. And everything that's not in alignment with heaven basically gets evaporated. Okay, burn the fires of hell. I mean, take your pick. There are hells. But I mean, just like, it doesn't, there's no part of greed in heaven. Everything is shared. There's no money. But there is this wealth of knowledge, growth, development, becoming. It's also forever. So once you're there, you have to be perfect. And pretty much once you get there and you're perfect, you don't ever want to leave because it's so fucking glorious. It is. It's truly glorious. Okay. It is the most beautiful. It just you never want to leave. Okay, guys. Once you're a God in heaven, you may put pieces of yourself back into a ride like this one to grow new gods, and in that way leave heaven. But once you're a God in heaven, you never leave heaven. The quantum. It's too glorious. You, the little piece of you that you are, is like a mouse to what you will be, what you are. And it's forever. Once you get there, you never leave. Okay. Only the remainders at the end of the universe, that's literally like part of the start package for the next one. Okay. So it's no failure to be the remainder at the end of the universe and not become a God in this universe. Every program will have a remainder so that there's the start for the next package. I mean, and unfortunately, I know it's emotions to us, but it's all equations to them. Okay, the emotions are the ride, and we can choose to be in love and joy, sharing, caring. You know, what would the your fathers be more proud of? Because you guys can transform the planet. There's all the means and the knowledge. It's about choosing to evolve. We can save the planet. We can make this world so beautiful for a very long time. God wants to know, are we better than the dinosaurs? I mean, can we at least make 10 million years? Just, come on. I mean, I know we're monkeys, but we can do better. I tell God every day they're learning. Somebody is probably learning something from someone. And we can create a world that's beautiful. Okay. Not just in her trees and her waterfalls and her oceans and her animals, but her people. We are ripe for evolution at this moment. We have the technology. We can save the planet. And ultimately, in the long run, the few lives that are lost are never lost. Okay? They'll come back again and they'll get to graduate then. Okay? And everything is fixable and forgivable because it has to be. All the equations in the ride have to be solved, resolved, and dissolved. And the person responsible in this realm is the Father that created the Jesus Christ child. Okay. And that's why he's important, and that's why nobody gets to heaven except through him. Okay, but that's kind of a twisting. He just has to solve everybody's equations, but he has to solve everybody's equations anyway. It's kind of his job. And he has to do everybody He has to do it for the whole planet and everything on it. It's just not like you're special and he's only doing you. He has to do everybody. So it did better if you try to do it at a, and if you help him out and save the planet, that would really, win brownie points. So there's your Sunday sermon for the morning. Okay, you can check out our website, Create Heaven on Earth. Okay, I'm putting together a program and an 8-week course. We're still working on the website, so I'm not really broadcasting it yet. But I'm really, really excited for the opportunity to work with people and really get this message out to the planet, because we need to let go of the fear and the anger and the greed and the lower vibrations and come into alignment in our hearts and our minds with heaven and with everything that heaven is meant to be. And work together to create heaven on earth, not just for the lives and consciousness and people that are here, but all the ones that can come after. Anyway, hugs and kisses from mommy and daddy. We love you all. You're all starseeds, immortal beings wearing stardust. Who forgot you came from heaven. And by the way, they don't call it heaven, they just call it home. We forgot. It's okay. We love you. Have a beautiful day dancing on this magical planet.